Chris Isaak, Kenney Johnson, good to have you back.
Good to be here.
It's always around this time of the year, isn't it, when the surf is up and the horses are racing?
At this time of year, just like pinworm, we come around there just like clockwork, right, Kenney?
That's right.
Good timing. Now, since you were out here last time, there's this little thing called Wikipedia that's been sort of, becoming sort of the benchmark for research these days. And I didn't know that your mother worked in a potato chip factory, Chris. Is that true?
Yep, she did. She worked at Tilly Lewis Potato Chip Factory in Stockton, California, and she worked on the line putting the potato chip bags together. And,
wow.
And all the time that she did that, I don't think we ever had free potato chips. She never brought them home. And as an adult, I said, Mom, how come we were always broke? I mean, we ate anything. I said, how come you never brought potato chips home? And she goes, that's crap. It's like, not for my kids.
Well, thank you, Wikipedia. We've now learned something from
there you go.
Chris Isaak. There's a new show on the way, the Chris Isaak Show.
The Chris Isaak Hour.
The Chris Isaak Hour, as opposed to the Chris Isaak Show.
Yeah, we had to change the name, but Chris Isaak Hour, I like it. It sounds so official, like I'm going to be talking to the vice president or something. It's more important than talking to politicians. We're talking to musicians.
Yeah.
And to me, politicians can always be replaced, but musicians...
And because it's an hour, you actually get to get into some in-depth with people's career.
We had the first show we did was Glenn Campbell.
Wow.
And I was shaken.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of respect for being on the other side of the microphone. It's easy to answer questions because you just answer and then things go on. But if you're asking questions, you actually have to kind of know something about the people. When you're answering, you don't have to know nothing, Kenney.
Tell me.
But you know what it is because you ask questions and you're good at it, and you have a background in what you do. You know about music. Well, I know about music, but before I wanted to talk to Glenn Campbell, I started going, well, I better read up on him, and you do your homework, and it's amazing. Glenn Campbell, do you know everybody loves somebody sometime.
He's a studio guy.
Yeah.
He was on that recording. Strangers in the night. Yeah. He's on that recording. He's on, good
sounds.
Good vibration.
Wow.
He's on the Beach Boys.
This is before he became his own.
He's on everything. He's on Donka Shane.
He's a great guitar player.
I mean, he's on everything. And there's a period like in the early 60s where you probably, if you'd have been listening to the radio, I mean, it must have been so weird for him to turn on the radio in the early 60s and just go, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me again.
Birds.
Yeah, there I am. It's like he's on everything.
Wow. And an amazing new album, too.
And we got to play with him, and Kenney drummed with him, and it was just awesome. He couldn't have been
What'd you
cooler.
play?
Everything.
Yeah.
We did Wichita Lineman, Galveston.
Yeah.
And then with the new ones, too.
We did
Green Day's...
Time of My Life.
Time of My Life.
Yeah.
Time of My
Tom
Life.
Petty song, too.
Yeah. Wow.
Walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this new show, is there like a mermaid that we're going to see in this one? Or?
We don't have a mermaid, but I'm always working on a concept of having a beautiful woman on the show. And we don't have any. We have Kenney, though, so something for the ladies.
Yeah. You auditioned for that mermaid role in the first show, didn't you?
Well, I did.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
That close.
My life story.
Yeah. And, spreading a bit of Christmas cheer at the moment, the new DVD, the Christmas DVD, which was done a couple of years ago, but, it's nice to see that out there at the moment.
The one thing about Christmas album is they don't go out of date or out of style. It's like my favorite Christmas albums were always Bing Crosby and like Dean Martin and those straight. I'm dreaming of a wife. You whore! How dare you buy me this? Give me my present. I'm leaving you and the children. Oh, sorry. I was channeling my own growing up. I said when we made a Christmas album, I said we have to have a Christmas album that has pretty music, but enough loud and up stuff that you can turn it up loud enough to drown out the sound of your relatives fighting. Who are you calling a whore, you punk?
Yeah. There's some nice guests on there. Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. She's been on our show too. Stevie and I are friends, and she couldn't be cooler.
Yeah.
Very nice lady.
And Michael Bublé, who is massive down here.
He deserves to be. Michael Bublé was one of the guests on the Chris Isaak show, and when we first got him on the show, we said, this guy's great. We want to get him on the show. And they said, really? We don't see it. I said, no, he's going to be huge. He's really a good singer. No, we don't see it. I said, he's Canadian. You won't have to pay for his passport or visa or anything. And they went, oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And we went on tour together in the States, and people would see, this is Michael, before he had a big band, he had like a 5 or 6 piece. But even then you hear him and you went, he's a great entertainer and a great singer, and he's a really nice guy, funny guy. And we would play places, and I'd say, come out and see us, but come early. You got to see this guy, this kid who's opening up. And people would come and they'd sit and they'd go like, who was that guy? You know, like, I love his thing yesterday. I'm Michael Bublé. I'm singing all the Sinatra songs. Soon people will forget his versions.
That was on the road.
Yeah, okay, Michael.
Well, as long as he keeps
Yeah.
channeling that thought,
That's
it will
good.
happen. Now, there's a new movie coming up, The Informers.
I haven't seen it, but they tell me I'm in it, so
Yeah.
I'm excited. It actually is. I actually haven't seen the film. I don't know how much I'm in it. I did a big part, but usually when I'm in a film, they cut me way down. But I have to say, I would go see it because Winona Ryder's in it.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke is in it. I'll see anything with Mickey Rourke.
Wow. Billy
You know,
Bob.
Billy Bob. If they had a film and they said Billy Bob, Mickey Rourke, and Winona Ryder are just improvising, and then at the end they wrestle a dog or something, I'm there. I'll buy tickets.
So what's this thing all about? I'm reading a lot about vampires and goblins, and I don't know.
The film?
Is it a horror movie?
No, it's like 3 kind of separate stories. I thought that kind of run in it, but to me, it was all about relationships, kind of like parents and their kids. But that makes it sound like it's going to be a sweet film or something, but it's got some pretty dark and crazy stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot of wild sex and a lot of violence, and there's scenes where, like, there's a kid in the bathroom and he's all bound up like somebody's going to kill him. Oh yeah, we're going to kill him later. I was like, oh, okay. And I said, when I saw the script, I go, I have the only scenes where like I have the least flaws of anybody. I'm an alcoholic womanizer in the film, and I went, I'm the good guy. I'm the nice guy in it.
At home, Kenny, do you have this sort of section of DVDs that star Chris Isaak? Like Married to the Mob, Silence of the Lambs, Grace of My
I
Heart.
watch his movies. Are you nuts?
Hey, Kenny, how'd you like that last movie? Oh yeah, it was great. That was really good. That thing that you did. You mean the part on the wharf? Yeah, that part. Oh yeah.
Do you have a favourite movie that you're in?
Little Buddha, probably.
Yeah.
Just not because I don't think I did anything amazing. I think a lot of people could have done what I did, but the movie I liked because Bertolucci. What a crazy idea for a film that tackles the idea of why we're here. I like it. That's the stuff I worry about at 4 a.m. That movie I'll never forget, because we did the film and we're looking out over in Bhutan, or we were in Nepal, and we're looking over this big area, like a religious site, and it's at night, and all these people are walking around this stupa and praying and holding candles. And in the film, the guy says, in 100 years, all these people will be gone, and we'll be gone. And it's just a line in the film, but you go, yeah, he's right. And you look and you go, yeah, he's right. And I go, I loved Bertolucci for taking on the monster. It's so much easier to make a film, Bill and Bob get laid. It's crazy. It's like, and I guess there's a place for both of them. But
Yeah. And there's 1 or 2 of them out there
Yeah,
at the
I'm
moment
sure.
as well. What about you guys back in the studio with a new album of new songs? It's been like since 2002, hasn't it? Since Always Got Tonight.
We have the new live album in Australia. We've got that, which is, I think it's been a lot of fun. But we also have laying on my kitchen table, and probably going to be out within the next year, will be a new album of studio music.
So all songs have been recorded, written.
And in fact, songs that we're ready to play when we come back and do the live, when we do a tour. We'll start playing some of the songs, not the whole album. We're going to play Wicked Game. I mean, people drove a long ways to see us.
Nuts.
We're not nuts.
Wicked
We're
Game,
gonna,
what's that?
Baby Did a Bad Thing. We'll play the hits, but we're also going to play some new stuff that people haven't heard that'll be on the next album.
Okay, well, tight.
What do we?
Titles?
Title of the album?
You don't. Oh, I don't have a title for the album.
No?
Yet.
Still working on that one?
No, I might call it Chicago. It worked for them, right?
Yeah.
Every one of their albums is called Chicago.
You can do another 30 albums called that. You know, that'll work out nicely. Yeah, so, I mean, this has been the longest period that you've ever gone
Please
without,
don't use that term with me. Has been, okay? Prefer not.
This has space, not has hyphen.
Okay.
But this has, I don't know how else to say it. This has been a long, long time since the last studio album. Why has it taken so long for? Just because you were doing it like every 1 or 2 years.
I don't know. It's because I probably recorded, a bunch of songs for that, and then went on a tour. Recorded more songs, did a movie, recorded more songs, did this new TV show, did this live album, and put those things in between. But I'm actually happy because I think I have we got a lot of good songs for the next record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying to get it out, but they won't allow me to release record after record. So I got this one out, and then I'll have the next one soon.
Yeah. Now, because when you think about that first album, the Silvertone album was 1980. I'll have to look up my notes here. 1985.
Yeah.
When that one first came out. That's a 23-year-old kid now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I know we never. Well, I always thought that we had a longevity. I go like the band. I remember when we first started off, we didn't have any money, and we went to the secondhand store. And everybody would get gabardine suits, blue gabardine, these wool suits from the 40s. And we all bought them, and I said, we'll all wear those. And I remember thinking, they're like big drapey suits. And everybody was saying, well, you're a good-looking guy, Chris. You should take your shirt off. And I said, that's not what I'm selling. I'm trying to sell music. And I go, what am I going to do when I'm 50 or, I said, I want to have a look and an image and the kind of music that I could play for a long time. And here we are a long time later, and I go, thank God we don't have like spandex pants that we have to go, okay, Kenney, that's our look. We got to, I got to put on the lipstick again. Oh, Jesus.
Where's my crucifix?
But you sort of came in with the second album, didn't you? Or were you working
I was around in the very end of the first record. Mm-hmm. They'd done a bunch of it by then.
He's on the first video, too.
Yeah. Some unknown guy called Jim Keltner was playing on the first record.
Yeah, he's on parts of that. Keltner was on there. Yeah. He's good.
Mm.
When recording, I've always brought in different people, not for everything, but for some things. But as we've gone on, I've done. Kenny's on the majority and most of everything you hear, and singing on. Like whenever you hear people go, you did a great harmony, I go, thank you. Thank you. Hey. I won't tell you that it's Kenney Johnson singing.
So the band really took shape, I guess, the second album. It's pretty much been the band since then, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been.
Which is, when you consider, all of these classic bands out there, the Beatles were only really together for less than 10 years. The Stones haven't had a lineup as consistent as you.
I think that we look around and we go, we've been around longer than a lot of other bands, and we're having fun doing it. Mm-hmm. And my hope is to keep doing it until I, fall over on stage. And then I told Kenney, and I said, even then, after I fall over on stage, I gave Kenney permission, and I'll say this here so you have a record of it. I want them to stuff me with my mouth open and light bulbs in my eyes so that the audience can throw quarters at me. And if they get a quarter in my mouth, my eyes will light up. So I'll still be in show business after death.
Right.
You guys could take me around and do shows,
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
Oh, Daddy, look, his eyes lit up.
Yeah. And the weird thing is somebody's actually going to take this seriously all these years from now, and it will now happen because of what he just said.
Gee, Mr. Johnson, I think he's joking. No, look at the tape again. You can tell he means it.
We're up to album number 3, Heart-Shaped World, when Wicked Game hit us.
Yeah.
Was that a special song as you were writing it, or did it just sort of blend in with the others? Did it sort of get a life of its own after the release of the album?
I remember that we always had enough success to keep fighting, and we were having so much fun making the records and playing. At least it was a lot of fun. And I worked with a producer who was a really brilliant and hard-working guy, Eric Jacobson. And we had a lot of things that favored our success, not talent necessarily, but work ethic.
You know, but to address the Wicked Game issue, it was interesting. Before it was a single, the people loved it.
Yeah.
Like you'd play it live and you'd get a huge reaction. This is way before it ever came out.
People
as a
knew.
single.
People knew. But like we cut Blue Hotel, and it went to like top 10 in Europe. That was our first like big hit, and so they went, wow, we had a big hit in Europe. And we had that song before the first album. I don't think it was on the first or
Yeah, it was on the second.
it was on the second album. And people said, why didn't you put this out on the first album? I was like, we got a bunch of songs. We just you cut them and put them where they go.
Yeah. Well, Dancing was a big hit in Australia.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to play dance when we come back here.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the first time we played you on the radio here.
Really?
Yeah.
We gotta start reading Wikipedia, don't we?
I know.
Well, no, I know that from my old radio days. I used to have to play it as a vinyl 7-inch record back in those days.
You know, the business has changed so much in some ways. It's sad because, not for us, because like for us, we go on, we're playing nice places and we put out records, and for us it's great. But what bothers me, or I feel bad about, is I worry about, like, there's some great artists right now that I go, it's a bad time for new artists. It's hard for them to break through. Do you know who Nicole Atkins is?
No.
There's a name to remember. Nicole Atkins is the greatest songwriter you heard in like 20 years. And this girl, I mean, she can sing like nobody's business.
Wow.
She doesn't sound like anybody. We're a couple of jaded old musicians. We're sitting backstage, and you're combing your hair, and you're hearing the opening band, and we've heard this for 24 years. You've heard this, and we're backstage, and everybody in the band goes, "Wow, man!" And then it's like pretty soon we're all standing on the side of the stage every night and going, "Damn!" And I go, "Well, she's going to be huge any minute now."
Wow.
And I think if it would have been 20 years ago, she would have already had 3 videos and had a hit and been out there, and she's getting people as they see her. She's getting that, more and more people are talking about her, but it's a tough time in that way for new artists to come through.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the live album's out there. That's what we've got to listen to at the moment until the new record comes out.
And the live album has, let me just tell you, we did it really is a live album. If you listen in the middle of this, there's a woman that's tormenting us and we're having fun with her. She got drunk out of her mind, I think. She had to be drunk. It could have been prescription pills that were given to her by a physician. But she was out of her mind having a good time, and she actually, you can hear her a couple of times, she's hollering and stuff, and then we finally started singing back to her the song, "Oh, I went to the show and had a few too many." We never sing that. We're just making it up because she's there, and you can actually hear her, I think, fall over at some point on the record.
Yes. Bit of surfing. You're hitting the waves while you're down here.
I haven't yet, but I always have hopes, and all they have to do is give me like a few hours off and then I'll disappear.
And we know why he hasn't been hitting the waves, folks, because I've been seeing photos of you in the paper with Miss Universe.
Yes, that's me with Miss Universe, and she's riding me like a pony. That was my idea. They said, they had us. They said, "Will you hold up this award?" And we were both standing there, and I said, "Hey, it'd be a really fun shot. Why don't you climb on my back and ride me like a pony?" And she goes, "Okay." I went, "Yes."
True, folks. It's in the newspaper at the moment.
She's awesome. She was a good sport because she could have been, "No, I think that's beneath me," or whatever. She went, "Yeah, sure. Bend down, shorty."
Well, it's good to see we allow you to have a little bit of fun when you're down this way.
We always have fun here.
Chris, Kenney, great to see you here at Undercover.
Good to be
See
here.
ya.